At number 10 spot, we have the cursed grave of the Devil Baby. The legend of the cursed grave of the Devil's Baby tells the story of a man who was born with a horn and a tail. And legend says that anyone who disturbs the grave will be struck by lightning or suffer some other terrible fates. Some say that the grave is guarded by a demon who will protect the baby's remains from being disturbed, while others believe that the curse of the Devil's Baby is real and that anyone who trespasses on the grave will face dire consequences. The grave of Devil's Baby remains a mysterious and eerie place. Many people avoid the area out of fear of encountering the demon or even facing the curse. Others are drawn to the grave hoping to catch a glimpse of the demon or experience some other supernatural phenomenon. Number 9. Hotel Ottumwa. Hotel Ottumwa is located in the city of Ottumwa, Iowa. According to the legend, the hotel is haunted by the ghost of its former guests who died there. The legend of the haunted Hotel Ottumwa dates back to the early 1900s, when the hotel was a popular destination for travelers passing through the area. Over the years, several guests reportedly died while staying at this hotel, and their spirits are said to still be inside of this building to this day. The legends say that the ghosts of the former guests can be heard walking the hallways and even whispering in the rooms at night. Some people have reported seeing ghostly figures in the mirrors, and others have claimed to have felt cold spots and even seen objects move on their own. Despite the legend, there is no concrete evidence to support the idea that the hotel is actually haunted, and it's possible that the legend was created to explain the coincidental deaths of the hotel's guests, or it may be simply a work of fiction, but who really knows? Number 8. Ghosts of the Field of Dreams. In Dyersville, Iowa, there's a story of a young boy who drowned in the nearby river. Visitors to the Field of Dream movie site have reported seeing the ghost of a boy playing in the field and hearing his laughter in the night. Some say that the ghost is drawn to the field because it was one of his favorite places to play when he was alive. Others believe that the ghost is still searching for his lost ball, which he was playing with when he drowned. The Field of Dreams movie site is a popular destination for fans of the movie, as well as ghost hunters and paranormal enthusiasts. Many people visit the site in hopes of catching a glimpse of the ghost of the boy, but many people leave empty-handed. Some have even captured footage of it and photographs, but a lot of it's in 240p and I don't even know if it's real. Whether or not the legend is true, the Field of Dreams remains a mysterious and eerie place for all who visit. At a number 7 spot, we have the Iowa State University Tower. The legend of the haunted tower of Iowa State University, located in Ames, Iowa, tells the story of a student who fell to his death from the top of the Campanile Tower. The student, whose name has been lost in history, was said to be an ambitious young man who was determined to climb to the top of the tower and just touch the bell. However, as he reached the top, he slipped and fell to his death. Since then, witnesses have reported hearing strange noises and seeing ghostly figures near the tower at night. Some say that his ghost is still in the area, unable to find peace in the afterlife. Others believe that the ghost is still trying to warn others of the dangers of climbing the tower, and the rest claim that the ghost has been seen throwing objects from the top of the tower as if he's trying to scare away anyone who comes a bit too close. Despite these stories, visitors are allowed to climb the tower during the day, and many people enjoy the breathtaking views from the top. However, at night, the tower takes on a different, most eerie atmosphere. People who reach the top have felt a cold, eerie presence while standing there. But all in all, many people avoid the tower altogether out of fear of encountering the ghosts of the students. At number 6 spot, we have Hotel Patey. Located in Perry, Iowa is Hotel Patey. The story goes that the former owner of the hotel hung himself inside of the rooms. Visitors to the hotel have reported seeing his ghost wandering the halls and hearing strange noises coming from his old room. Some say that the ghost is still searching for peace. Others believe that the ghost is still angry and vengeful, seeking revenge on those who wronged him in all his life. Ever since all these sightings, Hotel Patey remained a popular destination for many ghost hunters. So if you dare, ask the receptionist what his old room is if you dare to stay at room. In the Hump list, we have the Van Meter Visitor. The Van Meter Visitor is a story that is associated in the town of Van Meter in Iowa. According to the legend, the creature is a humanoid being with glowing eyes and a pair of bat-like wings. The legend of the Van Meter Visitor dates back to the early 1900s, when several residents of the town report seeing a strange creature flying near their homes. The creature was described as being 7 feet tall with glowing eyes and a pair of large wings. Some witnesses reported hearing a strange humming noise emanating from this creature. Over the years, the legend of the Van Meter Visitor has grown and evolved. Some believe the creature is a demon or some other supernatural being, while others believe that it could be a genetic experiment gone wrong. Still, others believe that the legend is simply a product of overactive imaginations. Despite the many theories and explanations that have been offered over the years, the true nature of the Van Meter Visitor remains a real mystery. Number 4, the Black Angel of Council Bluffs. The Black Angel of Council Bluffs is a statue located in Auckland Cemetery in the Council Bluffs of Iowa. The statue was created by Danish-American sculptor Daniel Chester French and was erected in 1911 to honor the memory of a local resident named T. Henry Tibbles. The Black Angel statue is a tall winged figure that stands atop a granite pedestal. It is made of bronze and is said to be one of the finest examples of French work. Over the years, the statue has become a local landmark and a popular tourist destination. However, the statue is said to be cursed. Local legend holds that the statue will cause the death of anyone who looks in its eyes. The legend has passed down for many generations, and many people believe that the statue is haunted by the spirit of T. Henry Tibbles himself. Number 3, the Witch's Bridge. Lovely name, lovely bridge. The legend of Witch's Bridge, located in Ames, Iowa, tells the story of a woman who was accused of witchcraft and hung from the bridge in the 1800s. Local legend says that if you cross the bridge alone at night, the witch will appear and try to drag you into the river. Some say that the ghost of the witch can still be seen on the bridge, appearing as a shadowy figure with long hair and a white dress. Others claim to have felt a cold, eerie presence while crossing this bridge, as if the witch was still walking over the area. Whether or not the legend is true, the Witch's Bridge has become a popular spot for ghost hunters and thrill seekers looking for a spooky adventure. Number 2, the Oakland Cemetery. At Oakland Cemetery in Iowa City, many people enjoy walking around the humble, well-maintained gravestones. But there's one site in the cemetery that many say they avoid. This is yet another angel statue, and it's a local monument first erected in 1913. It was designed by famous architect Mario Corbel as a tribute to the commissioner's husband. The grieving wife would soon be buried alongside him, but as the time went on, something odd happened. The bronze statue oxidized and turned a greenish black color, giving it an oddly haunting pallor. And that's not the only haunting thing about it. It is said that if one touches or kisses the statue, they will be struck dead unless the person is a virgin. It's also rumored that if a pregnant woman walks beneath the statue's stretched wings, that she will have a miscarriage. This hasn't kept countless visitors from testing their luck, but many people swear they feel odd, eerie energy when they're near it. At our number 1 spot, we have the ghost of C.Y. Stevens. Clifford Y. Stevens started off as a farmer and dairyman. He attended Iowa State University and graduated in 1925. In 1962, he donated all of his stock to his alma mater, the campus of Iowa State University, which in turn named an auditorium after him. Since Stevens' death 1 year later in a car crash, he has been said to haunt the auditorium. However, he's not described as a scary ghost, but instead as a friendly ghost. He's been seen in the basement tunnels or sitting in the back right corner of the 3rd balcony. He also makes himself known by cold spots and the sound of footsteps. When performers see him, it is said that he is a sign of good luck. A stagehand reported, quote, "I used to work at C.Y. Stevens as a stagehand in college. I remember being on stage and looking up at the upper balcony and seeing a man sitting there in the far right back seat. I thought it was odd since the auditorium was huge and there was no one else there aside from the people setting up the stage for a performance. I saw him clear as day, looked away for a second, and when I looked back, he was gone." Not long after, I was researching about haunted places, and what I learned about C.Y. Stevens Auditorium helped explain what I had seen. The reports matched my experience almost exactly. Number 10, Stull Cemetery. Stull Cemetery, located just outside of Lawrence, Kansas, has gained a reputation for being one of the 7 gates to hell. According to urban legend, the devil himself appears in the cemetery on Halloween and the spring equinox at midnight. The legend began with a student publication at the University of Kansas that reported several student encounters with mysterious forces at the graveyard. As the legend gained more popularity, more and more people began showing up to the cemetery to witness the supposed supernatural activity, but this instead caused significant damage and vandalism to the graves and the crumbling church in the area. In response, a chain link fence and patrols were put into place to prevent any sort of trespassing. Then in 1999, reporters and a camera crew even showed up on Halloween Day to investigate the truth behind the tales, but they're escorted off the property before the alleged appearance of the devil. Ever since, this place has remained a very significant spot in the state, and many people still visit it to catch a glimpse of the devil that supposedly roams the grounds. Number 9, the Ghost of Saline River. The legend of Takaluma is a frightening tale that has been passed down for generations in Kansas. According to the legend, Takaluma was an old Native American who was condemned to wander the banks of the Saline River after his death. His ghost is said to roam the river at nights, searching for his father's skull, who was the chief and was murdered by early settlers. One night, a cowboy camping on the riverbank had a terrifying encounter with the ghost of Takaluma. The cowboy heard a loud yell and saw the ghost standing right in front of him. He described it as a powerful looking Indian with piercing eyes and a very mocking laugh. Despite trying to defend himself with his revolver, the cowboy's bullet seemed to have no effect on the spirit. Takaluma then spoke to the cowboy in English, telling him a story of his people and their journey to the valley where they made their home. However, a pestilence decimated the entire tribe and their wigwams decayed. Then he described how the white man came and disturbed the rest of Takaluma's people with his plow. The ghost had asked the cowboy to help right the wrongs that had been done to his people and to find the skull of his father. However, some say the cowboy never ended up finding the skull, so Takaluma's spirit still wanders around the saline river asking people to find the skull of his father. Number 8. The Rocky Ford Bridge. The Rocky Ford Bridge is a single-lane iron truss bridge in Kansas that holds a dark and tragic history. Built between the years 1890 and 1907 in the stockyards of Emporia, the bridge is known for its historical significance and architectural style, which was popular in Kansas at the end of the 1800s. However, it is the murder of Sandy Bird that took place under the bridge in 1983 that has cemented its place in local folklore. It started when Thomas Bird, a Lutheran pastor, and his mistress Lorna Anderson planned to have their spouses killed. And later on, Sandy Bird's body was found on July 17, 1983 next to her car under the Rocky Ford Bridge, and alongside Lorna Anderson's husband, Marty, who was shot alongside a highway near Junction City. Thomas Bird was named an accessory in the murder of Marty Anderson and was later charged with the murder of his wife as well. The trial surrounding the murder drew national attention to the town of Emporia and the Rocky Ford Bridge, and ever since, many have visited this bridge due to saying that her screams can be heard at the bottom of the bridge during some nights. Others have also said that her ghost walks the shore, and the reports ended up being so common, the incident turned into the film titled Murder Ordained. Number 7. Nick the Ghost at the University of Kansas. Kansas State University's Memorial Stadium is home to a rumored ghost named Nick the Ghost. According to the legend, Nick was a former football player who died in an old cafeteria beneath the stadium, and now he haunts a Purple Mask Theater. Some people claim to have seen a white hazy shadow lurking behind curtains, or to have experienced some strange occurrence like knocked over equipment and slammed doors during late night rehearsals. However, there may be another explanation for the ghostly activity at the stadium. Instead of Nick, the spirit could be that of Edward D. Eddie Wells, a popular student at Kansas State and an accomplished athlete as well. It is believed to be him because when the United States entered World War I, Wells joined the military and was stationed on the Western Front. Unfortunately, he was killed on the field of battle on September 12, 1918. He was one of the 48 Kansas State students who died in the war, and it is possible that Wells' spirit returned to Memorial Stadium, which is a place that he loved and that held many memories for him. Number 6. The Eldridge Hotel. The Eldridge Hotel in Lawrence, Kansas has a storied history that dates back to the mid-1800s. This was when the building was burned down twice during the Missouri-Kansas border war. Originally called the Free State Hotel, it was built in 1855 by settlers from the New England Emigrant Aid Society as temporary quarters for those waiting for their homes to be built. However, just months after its construction, the hotel was attacked and destroyed by Sheriff Samuel J. Jones and his posse, who were pro-slavery forces. As a result, many people perished, and ever since, the hotel has had run-ins with the supernatural. After being rebuilt back in 1865, the hotel was renamed the Hotel Eldridge and became one of the most finest hotels west of the Mississippi River. It was renovated in 1925, but by the 1970s, it fallen back into disrepair and was in danger of being demolished as many visitors would take their own lives and the town of Lawrence would undergo many fatal events. So now this hotel is recognized around the state as being extremely haunted, and this is not that surprising. Many visitors say the 5th floor is said to contain the portal to the spirit world, especially room 506. In this room, witnesses have reported breath marks on recently cleaned windows, doors opening and shutting on their own, and lights turning on and off by themselves. Others report cold spots throughout the old hotel, while some guests have even encountered apparitions on the 5th floor, and also some recall an elevator ghost that likes to open and close elevator doors on the 5th floor, but that doesn't seem that scary, but more so helpful for those people. In the hump of our list, we have the Zombie Road. Zombie Road has gained a reputation for being the most haunted road in Kansas, and with a name like that, is it all that surprising? The route, originally known as Lawler Ford Road, was built in the late 1860s to provide access to the Merrimack River and the adjacent railroad tracks. It was abandoned and fell into disrepair in the 1950s and then became a popular spot for local teenagers to hang out and party. However, the road's secluded location and eerie atmosphere led to numerous stories about ghosts, vanishing, and strange noises, earning it the nickname Zombie Road. One popular legend is that of the Zombie Killer, which is about a man who lived in the woods and attacked young lovers. Other sightings on the road include Native American spirits due to the fact it is apparently built on Native American burial grounds, so you already know how that works. Others here report a translucent figure in white that is believed to be the ghost of Della Hamilton McCullough. She was a woman that was hit by the train and passed away in 1876, and ever since, people have reported seeing her spirit walk alongside the railroad tracks during some nights. The road has also been the site of frequent derailments and all sorts of other accidents, leading to speculation that the ghosts haunting the area may be only the people who suffered tragic accidents here, and this is definitely a sign never to drive on this road. Number 4, Sawyer Castle. The Sawyer Castle is a beautiful piece of architecture that is rumored to be haunted by each and every one of its former residents. The castle was designed by Asabib Cross and built all the way back in 1873. It was later occupied by the Sawyer family, who experienced several untimely deaths in the home, including many people taking their lives, natural causes, and also one case of a child drowning in the swimming pool. These deaths have contributed to the rumors of ghosts on the property, and even those who venture around the property claim to see these spirits in the yard and sometimes looking through the windows of the castle. In the 1980s, one of Anton Sawyer's descendants purchased the castle but has done little to maintain it, and it is now in a state of disrepair and listed for sale at the hefty price of $10 million. Despite its dilapidated state, the castle's creepy appearance and ghostly reputation has only added to its charm. Well, that's only if you're into haunted castles and such. But hey, if you got $10 million lying around, go and buy this castle just for the sake of having a haunted castle, cause why not? Number 3, Fort Leavenworth Cemetery. Fort Leavenworth Cemetery in Kansas is filled with headstones of thousands of soldiers, so you kind of already know what that means. This means that it is haunted by many spirits who have never found peace in the afterlife. The cemetery, which covers 36 acres, has graves dating back to 1844 before it eventually even became a cemetery. Visitors to the cemetery have reported seeing ghostly soldiers, some of whom are injured and very confused. One such soldier is a young man in a Union uniform who is missing much of his face. Another ghost is said to be that of Chief Joseph, a Nez Perce leader who was held as a prisoner of war at the fort for 8 months in 1877. He is said to haunt the cemetery out of grief and just straight bitterness. As well, Catherine Rich, a woman who searched for her missing children at the fort, later died of pneumonia, and she is also said to haunt the cemetery carrying a lantern and calling for her children at all times. And that doesn't stop there. One more. The ghost of General George Armstrong Custer, who was court-martialed at the fort in 1867. He's been seen at the cemetery kneeling at various gravestones as if he's in prayer and asking for forgiveness. Number 2, Strawberry Hill. Strawberry Hill is a historic mansion located in Kansas City, Kansas that has a reputation for being haunted. Built in 1887, the house was purchased in 1919 by the Sisters of St. Francis Christ and then was converted into an orphanage called St. John the Baptist Children's Home. Today, the house serves as a museum thanks to the effort of the Strawberry Hill Ethnic Cultural Society. However, it seems that the building's history as an orphanage has left a lasting impression on the property. It is said to be haunted by several ghostly figures. One of the most well-known ghosts at Strawberry Hill is known as the Lady in Red, a woman who is said to roam the corridors of the house dressed in 1940s style clothing that trails blood. According to the legend, she was a woman who was taken in by the nuns at the orphanage, but later on she passed away after a failed abortion. Visitors to the museum and tour guides have reported seeing the Lady in Red walking through the chapel, and even 2 nuns even claim to have encountered her on separate occasions. In addition to the Lady in Red, there have been also reports of a male ghost haunting the 3rd floor of the house. He's usually accompanied by several childlike ghosts playing in the halls with him. Paranormal activities such as phantom singing, chanting, and flickering lights have also been reported at this mansion. While it may not be the most welcoming place for the living, it seems that Strawberry Hills is a popular destination for the spirits of the deceased. Number 1, Wolf Hotel. The Wolf Hotel in Ellenwood, Kansas is a historic location that is said to be haunted by various ghosts. The hotel is known for its underground tunnels that were once home to brothels, bars, gambling houses, and all sorts of other businesses. Today, the tunnels are closed to the public, but visitors can still take a tour of the hotel and its underground storefronts. Some people have reported experiencing strange sounds, moving shadows, and paranormal activity in the hotel, including ghosts that seem to interact with equipment. While down under in the tunnels, people have been physically grabbed with nothing to show for it. The hotel even offers regular tours of the property as well as paranormal focused tours for those interested in the supernatural. If you ever want to get a glimpse of these dark tunnels, Just search up the Wolf Hotel tunnels on YouTube and you'll see many people using Dybbuk boxes and Ouija boards while they're walking down here.
Starting off this countdown at number 10, the Cody Road Bridge. The Cody Road Bridge in northern Kentucky is a railroad bridge that runs over Cody Road, right at the point where a creek runs under the road. So you have the bridge running above you, and the road dips somewhat below it. With the creek and low road, this area is prone to flooding when the creek rises. Flooding here is such a common occurrence that swinging gates have been permanently placed on either side of the creek, marked with stop signs to be closed whenever the water starts to rise. The legends of this area revolve around a woman that passed away in one of the following ways, depending on who you ask. The first one is by taking her own life, either by jumping in front of an oncoming train on the bridge or by jumping from the bridge. The second one is running for help from her burning home that was near the bridge, but got hit by a train in the process. And the last one is getting caught in the current when the road quickly flooded below the bridge, either while in her car or while walking. Reports from this area are often of a woman in white walking the bridge, sometimes crying. Others say yelling for help. Orbs, phantom trains, and disembodied voices are also reported here. Some locals refer to the phantom as pig face, supposedly referring to her injuries after going head to head with the train. Now on to number 9, Narrows Road. Narrows Road in Angler, Kentucky is supposedly where a ghostly police officer likes to hang out. According to urban legend, while making a traffic stop here sometime in the 50s, he was struck and passed away by a passing car. So now, if you drive along Narrows Road after midnight, or at exactly midnight in some tellings, a 1950s style police cruiser will appear and pull you over. Some versions of the legend say the officer will then come to your car, speak to you, then disappear after walking away, while others say he disappears before even reaching you. Number 8, Hillbilly Beast. In the back hills of eastern Kentucky, near the Ohio River, something stalks through the trees. Many locals believe that the mysterious creature is the Hillbilly Beast of Kentucky, a Bigfoot-like entity. This creature is said to be gigantic and hairy, smells horrid, glides when it runs, and has yellow eyes and a ferocious howl. Reports of this terrifying monster date back to the days of Daniel Boone, but increasing encounters provided enough interest that History's channel Monster Quest featured the Hillbilly Beast in an episode aired on their 4th season. Number 7, Hot Rod Haven. The place known to local folks as Hot Rod Haven is actually a stretch of Mitchell Hill Road. During the period between the 1940s and the 1970s, the road was a popular spot for teenagers to test not only their racing skills but their bravery as well. However, many of them did not come back from the road alive. Mitchell Hill Road is a winding and twisting road that, over time, has reportedly claimed the lives of more than 25 people in the area. As the driver travels down the hill, they come out of the curves into a short straightaway that abruptly switches back into a banking left turn. Prior to reaching the turn, cars are able to reach very high speeds, which often results in tragedy. Legend has it that a young woman and her date were on their way to a dance on the night of September 23, 1950, when they crashed at the bottom of the hill and passed away. Since that time, reports claim that the girl has been seen wandering the roadway and aimlessly strolling the cemetery at the top of the hill. It was here that she was buried side by side with her young lover. The cemetery at the top of the road is a private burial ground for several local families, most notably the Mitchell and Griffin families. Over the years, the ghostly girl has been dubbed both Sarah and Mary by those who've seen the apparition on the road at night. Number 6, the Hopkinsville Goblins. The Hopkinsville Goblins can also be known as the Little Kelly Green Men. This urban legend came directly from a pair of grandparents who live in Oak Grove and wanted to share the legend. Apparently, there was an alien invasion back in the 1950s. A family had reported that they had encountered little green men that they had been battling. The town did what any responsible town does and decided to host a festival in honor of these guys called Kelly Little Green Men Days Festival. Halfway, number 5, the Poplick Monster. Outside of Louisville on Poplick Creek, a rickety bridge crosses the water. But beware before you step on it. You may become the next victim of the Poplick Monster. Numerous urban legends exist about this creature's origins and the methods that it employs to claim its victims. According to some accounts, this creature uses either hypnosis or voice mimicry to lure trespassers onto a bridge to meet their end before an oncoming train. Other stories claim the monster jumps down from the bridge onto the roofs of cars passing beneath it. Yet other legends say it attacks its victims with a blood-stained axe, and that the very sight of the creature is so unsettling that those who see it while walking across the high bridge are driven to leap off and take their own life. Whether it's the work of a monster or just due to unfortunate accidents, there's no denying that this is a pretty scary legend. Number 4, Sleepy Hollow Road. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, you have to agree that calling anything Sleepy Hollow is a surefire way to end it with something spooky on your hands. Sleepy Hollow Road, located outside of Prospect, is home to a few urban legends, but I'm just gonna talk about the main one. The Louisville Ghost Hunter Society had investigated a trio of tall tales that took place along Sleepy Hollow Road near Prospect in Louisville. It's said that a black hearse appears out of nowhere, speeds up, and causes drivers to run off the road and crash into a ravine 30 feet below. Cries and screams have been heard under what used to be a covered bridge, called Crybaby Bridge, while settlement women went to allegedly toss their unwanted or sickly children that they couldn't or didn't want to care for. And during the 1970s and 1980s, it is rumored that satanic rituals were performed at Devil's Point. Number 3, the Allendale Train Tunnel. The Allendale Train Tunnel is located south of Cincinnati in the woods behind the Allendale Trailer Park in Ellesmere, Kentucky. Years ago, legend says that a man hung himself from a hook that is set above the tunnel entrance and that his ghost is said to walk the tunnel, or some say appears still hanging from the hook. There are also reports of disembodied voices, as well as screams coming from inside the tunnel. There is sometimes confusion with finding it because it's known as a train tunnel but no trains run through it. It's actually a tunnel for the stream that runs under the tracks. To reach it, you must enter through the woods, travel down a hill, and follow the stream to reach the creepy location that's covered in spray paint and littered.
Check that out there. And I'm thinking that's one of the hooks. Looks like it got broke. Yeah, it's definitely one of the hooks there. So if someone did hang themselves, why would?
Number 2, the Headless Woman. If you go to Louisville's 739-acre Iroquois Park in the middle of the night, you might spot a ghastly apparition. People who live in Kentucky have said to have heard about the Headless Horseman growing up, but not the Headless Woman of Kentucky. According to the legend, she can be found in Iroquois Park in Louisville. The story is told that a farmer's wife was alone while her husband was away on work and her home was attacked by an Indian tribe, and it's said that they took the life of her and her dog. The legend is that she can be seen after dark just as a thick fog rolls in, roaming the grounds and holding her head. Now coming in at number 1, the Witch Girl of Pilot's Knob. Just looking at the pictures of young Mary Evelyn Ford's grave feels a bit unnerving, with a series of interlocking white crosses forming a fence around a pit of gravel and the bars appearing unnaturally bent in some places. Then you hear the alleged backstory. A mother and daughter both accused of witchcraft and burned at the stake in 1916, with the mother's charred remains being carried to a far-off location while the daughter was buried in a steel-lined coffin covered in stone and encased in crosses to prevent her escape. Some have claimed to witness tiny footprints appearing in the gravel, or even a young ghostly figure trying to escape the gravesite. Kid ghosts, as we know, are the creepiest ghosts, no doubt.
At a number 10 spot, we have the LaLaurie Mansion. According to the story, the LaLaurie Mansion in New Orleans was home to a wealthy and socialite named Delphine LaLaurie, who was known for her lavish parties, but on the other side, she was also known for her cruel treatments of her slaves. The legend of LaLaurie Mansion began in the early 1800s when Delphine was rumored to have inflicted terrible atrocities on her slaves. This included torture, mutilation, and even murder. It is said that she kept a secret room in the mansion where she performed these horrific acts, and that the ghosts of her victims still haunt the property to this day because of this. One of the most famous stories associated with the mansion involves a fire that broke out at the property in 1834. As the fire raged, neighbors and passerbys reported seeing slaves who were chained and shackled, screaming and begging for help from the windows of the burning mansion. When the fire was finally extinguished, the bodies of several slaves were found in the ruins, including one who had been hanged and another one who had been disemboweled. Over the years, the LaLaurie Mansion had gained a reputation as one of the most haunted houses in the United States, and it's said to be visited by ghost hunters and paranormal investigators from all over the world. Even Nicolas Cage owned the home for some reason, but probably because of the infamous story around it. Many claim to have experienced strange and unexplained phenomena at the mansion, including unexplained noises, cold spots, and the feeling of being watched. Some have said that they've seen the ghosts of Delphine LaLaurie's victims wandering the halls of the mansion, still trapped in their chains and shackles that held them captive in life, and now it holds them captive in death as well. Many people are drawn to the mansion out of morbid curiosity, hoping to catch a glimpse of the ghosts that are said to inhabit it, while others are simply drawn to the dark and eerie history of the property. Regardless of the reasons, the LaLaurie Mansion remains a fascinating and mysterious place and will be forever remembered as the most haunted home in New Orleans. At a number 9 spot, we have the Grunch. The Grunch Road Monster is an alleged chupacabra sighting in New Orleans, Louisiana that has captivated the imagination of local residents for centuries. The Grunch is described as an elaborate cross between a canid and reptilian chupacabra and is said to be more intelligent and adaptable to its surroundings than its counterparts in other parts of the world. According to the local folklore, The Grunch has leathery or scaly skin with sharp spines or quills running down its back, and it stands at a height of 3 to 4 feet tall. It is said to have a strong and unpleasant smell, and they are said to be able to use tools and open doors like primates. Some reports have suggested that it has wings and a tail as well. The Grunch is known for its aggressive behavior and has been reported to attack animals and humans alike, leaving behind mutilated corpses. There are various stories about the origins of the Grunch, including a legend involving a voodoo queen named Marie Laveau. According to the story, Marie Laveau castrated the devil baby when he was born, and the result was a male and female Grunch falling to the floor. The Grunch then attacked Marie Laveau, nearly killing her before disappearing. The legend is said to be the reason why Marie Laveau gave up her voodoo practices and returned to being a good Catholic woman. At number 8 spot, we have the Rougarou. The legend of the Rougarou has been part of the folklore of the Cajun people of Louisiana. This mysterious creature is said to roam the swamps and bayous of the region, preying on those who dare to venture out into the wilderness at night. According to the legend, the Rougarou is a werewolf-like creature with the ability to transform into a wolf or human at will. It is said to be incredibly fast and agile, able to move through the dense undergrowth of the swamp with ease. Some versions of the legend describe the Rougarou as a supernatural being that is cursed to roam the earth, while others portray it as a human who has made a pact with the devil in exchange for the power of transformation. The Rougarou is said to be a formidable and terrifying creature to those who encountered it, and those who have seen it in real life have said it had glowing red eyes, sharp teeth, and a bloodthirsty desire for human flesh. Those who encounter the Rougarou are said to be at great risk of being attacked and dying, and many people in the Cajun community still take great care to avoid the swamps and bayous at night for fear of encountering this creature. Despite its reputation, the Rougarou is also a powerful symbol in Cajun folklore. It is often used to warn people of the dangers that lurk in the wilderness, especially not to visit them at night. Some people believe that the Rougarou is a real creature that exists in the wetlands, while others just see it as a myth or a symbol of the unknown. Regardless of whether or not it's real, the Rougarou remains an important part of the cultural heritage of the Cajun people, and its legend continues to be told and passed down through the generation. Number 7, the vampire Comte de Saint-Germain. The legend of Jacques Saint-Germain, also known as the Count of Saint-Germain, has captivated and puzzled people for centuries. According to the legend, Saint-Germain was a mysterious and charismatic figure who appeared in New Orleans in the 1900s and claimed to be a descendant of the Comte de Saint-Germain, which was a historical figure from the 18th century with ties to King Louis himself. The Comte de Saint-Germain was rumored to be immortal and not to age past 40, and it was suggested that Jacques Saint-Germain was also immortal, suggesting that he may be a vampire. In addition to his supposed immortality, Saint-Germain was also rumored to exhibit vampire-like behavior. One instance of this was when he allegedly attacked a woman and bit her neck, causing her to jump from his balcony to escape. When the police arrived to investigate, they found bloodstains on tablecloths throughout his home, as well as bottles mixed with wine and blood. Even at parties, Saint-Germain was never reportedly seen eating and was always holding a glass of red liquid, which some people suspected was blood. Despite these strange occurrences, Saint-Germain remained a respected and well-liked member of the community. However, he eventually disappeared as mysteriously as he arrived, leaving behind only a trail of rumors and legends. To this day, the true identity and nature of Jacques Saint-Germain remains a mystery. While some believe that he was a real person with supernatural powers, others believe he was just purely a legend and a myth. At number 6 spot, we have the Carter brothers. The city of New Orleans is known for once having the Carter brothers named John and Wayne. These two men are said to have been vampires sometime in the 1930s. According to the legend, the pair would capture their victims and hold them in their shared home, where they would drain and drink their blood. So one day in the early 1930s, a young girl managed to escape from the Carter home and ran frantically down the streets until a police officer spotted her. She told the officer that she and others had been held captive in the Carter house with their wrists cut to enable a slow bleed. The girl either took the officer back to the Carter home or was rushed to the hospital, depending on the version of the story. When the police arrived at the Carter home, they discovered the bodies of over a dozen victims with their wrists slit and their blood drained. There are also at least 4 captives still tied up and bleeding from their wrists at the home. Some of the bodies were wrapped in sheets and all appeared as though they had been there for extended periods of time. In some versions of the legend, the police left 10 of their largest officers in the apartment to take on the alleged vampires when they returned to feed at night. When the brothers returned home that night, it reportedly took 7 to 8 officers to subdue them. Upon their arrest, the Carter brothers allegedly admitted to becoming vampires and asked to be killed, as they would continue to capture and drink the blood of their victims. They were tried and executed for their crimes, but many believe that they continue to haunt the streets of New Orleans, taking their place in the city's grand lore. The legend of the Carter brothers serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of monsters hiding in plain sight and the horrors that can lurk within the walls of even the most normal looking homes. In the hump of our list, we have the Bonnie and Clyde ambush site. The Bonnie and Clyde ambush site is a location where the notorious criminal duo Bonnie Parker and Clyde Barrow were ambushed and killed by law enforcement in 1934. The site is located in Bienville Parish, Louisiana, near the town of Gibbsland. Bonnie and Clyde were known for their string of robberies and murders during the Great Depression, and they became infamous as symbols of the era's lawlessness and social upheaval. On May 23, 1934, Bonnie and Clyde were driving through Louisiana when they were ambushed by a group of law enforcement officers who had been tracking them down for months. The officers fired over 130 rounds at the couple's vehicle, killing them both. Bonnie and Clyde's bodies were then taken to a funeral home in Arcadia, Louisiana, where they were publicly displayed before being buried in Dallas, Texas. Ever since, the ambush site has been a popular attraction, but not for all the good reasons. Because it's reported that on a full moon, you can still hear gunshots and faint screaming from the area, as though the incident is playing out again and again in some other dimension. At a number 4 spot, we have the Voodoo Queen. Mary Laveau was a well-known figure in New Orleans, Louisiana in the 19th century. She was a powerful and influential figure in the city's voodoo community and was often referred as the Voodoo Queen. Laveau was born in New Orleans in 1801, and she was descended from a long line of voodoo practitioners. She was known for her knowledge of herbal medicine, and she was said to be able to cure a variety of ailments through the use of various potions and spells. Laveau was also said to have the ability to communicate with the spirits, and many believe that she had the power to cast spells and curses on those who crossed her. Despite her reputation as a powerful and feared figure, Laveau was more so known for her charitable works and her willingness to help those in need. She was known to provide assistance to the poor and the sick, and she was highly respected within the voodoo community. Laveau's influence and fame extended beyond the voodoo community, and she was known to be visited by the people of all walks of life, including politicians and celebrities. She passed away in 1881, and ever since, many claim that if you visit her grave at the St. Louisville Cemetery and place a rose on her grave at midnight, there's a good chance your body will begin to levitate. At a number 3 spot, we have Le Faux Follet. Le Faux Follet, or the Will-o'-the-Wisp, is a term used in Louisiana folklore to describe a ghostly light that is said to appear in swamps, marshes, and other remote or isolated areas. According to the local legend, it is a mischievous spirit that lures travelers off their path or into danger, often with the intention of causing them harm. In some versions of the legend, it is said to be the spirit of a person who passed away from a violent or premature death and is unable to rest until it has fulfilled some unfinished business or desire. This spirit is said to manifest itself as a glowing light that moves erratically and seems to have a life of its own. In some versions of the legend, it is simply a malevolent entity that delights in causing confusion and chaos for others. Despite its reputation, it is often depicted as a small glowing light that is difficult to discern from a distance. Some believe it can only be seen to those who are lost or in danger, while others claim that it appears only at night or in a foggy or misty condition. Many believe it is a sign of danger or misfortune, and that encountering it is a telltale sign of bad luck or even death. At number 2 spot, we have the Myrtles Plantation. The Myrtles Plantation in St. Francisville, Louisiana is a historic plantation home that is rumored to be haunted by the ghosts of former slaves who were executed on the property. Built in the late 1700s, the plantation has a long and dark history, including several instances of murder and violence. One of the most well-known ghosts at the Myrtles Plantation is said to be that of a former slave named Chloe, who was executed by her fellow slaves after she was caught eavesdropping on their conversations. She is said to haunt the plantation house, where she is often seen walking to the rooms and the corridors. Some people have reported seeing her ghost, while others have reported hearing strange noises and feeling a presence in the house. Adding on to the tragedy of the home, the plantation's original owner, Clark Woodruff, was poisoned by his wife, who was later acquitted of her crime. Then another former owner, Judge Hardy, was shot and murdered on the property. These events, along with the many other tragic stories associated with the plantation, are said to contribute to its reputation as a haunted house. No wonder this is a haunted house. At number 1 spot, we have the Honey Island Swamp Monster. The Honey Island Swamp Monster is a cryptid that is said to inhabit the Honey Island Swamp in Louisiana. It is described as a large humanoid with brown or black fur, long arms, and a barrel-shaped body. Some reports have described the creature as having the face that resembles a monkey or a human, while others have described it as having a more reptilian or amphibious appearance with alligator qualities. The legend of the Honey Island Swamp Monster dates back to the early 20th century when it was first reported by a group of hunters who claimed to have encountered it by the swamp. Since then, there has been numerous reports of the creature reported by people who claim to have encountered it while exploring the place or living in the surrounding area. It was blamed for the many human and livestock deaths that occurred around this area, and ever since, people feared this monster to the point that they wouldn't even enter anywhere close to these swamps. There's been various theories proposed to explain the existence of this monster, including the possibility that it is a surviving population of a prehistoric creature or even a new species of animals that has yet to be discovered by science. Others believe that the creature was raised alongside alligators from a homeless orphan who lived in the area. Regardless, the Honey Island Swamp Monster remains a mystery and is feared by everyone who lives near it.